The Liberals will be looking for partners in Parliament as they kick off the new session just a few seats shy of a majority. On the opposition side of the aisle, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre will be notably missing from the chamber until he can run in a by-election for a seat. Here to lay out her party's priorities for the weeks ahead and how it plans to hold the government accountable is the deputy leader of the Conservative Party, Melissa Lantsman. Ms. Lantsman, thanks so much for making time for us this morning. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Later this morning, King Charles will deliver the throne speech, laying out the Liberal government's priorities for the spring session. What are you hoping to hear today?
Look, always an exciting day when the King comes to the office. I don't think there's very many people. Certainly hasn't happened in my lifetime. So, looking forward to that aspect of it. But in terms of priorities, I think we've been very, very clear for the Canadians, for the 8 million Canadians who did vote for us, and those who did not. We want to restore hope, and we'll be pushing the government on making sure that they're going to reduce the cost of living, that they're going to actually build houses that Canadians can afford, that we become less reliant on the U.S. by bolstering our economy and attracting investment, by making sure that we're going to hold the government's feet to the fire on our out of control crime in this country, and of course the issue of immigration, which I think this country has lost a long-standing consensus on because of what the Liberals have done over the last 10 years.
On the point of making life more affordable for Canadians, the Liberals are promising to act quickly to pass an income tax cut. And while, of course, I understand the opposition's role is not to rubber stamp things before they're introduced in the House, I just wonder, in essence, is this something Conservatives will support? Will they support an income tax cut?
Look, we'll support anything that makes life more affordable for Canadians. It's what we ran a campaign on, and I think it's what we've been very successful in prosecuting the last government on. We obviously want to see any legislation that comes forward in order to scrutinize it and make sure that Canadians are actually the ones being served, and that this is in fact a straight tax cut. So while I can't tell you today that we'll support legislation that we haven't seen yet, you can be sure that the Conservatives in the House will be pushing this government to adopt, frankly, more of our own ideas, which they have adopted. They said that they were going to cut the carbon tax. We haven't seen legislation. They said that they're going to stop crime in this country. We haven't seen any legislation on it. So we're looking forward to them adopting some of our ideas, and of course, we'd support our own ideas.
On that point, what does it say to you, however, that majority of Canadians did vote for the Liberals to implement those ideas as opposed to the Conservatives?
Look, I think anytime you have an election, whether you win or lose, I think you look at some of the things that you did right and some of the things that didn't go your way, and we'll have plenty of time and plenty of introspection on what that looks like. But I think our job here is to show Canadians that there is hope. That there is hope going forward for the 8 million that did vote for us, and that we are a government in waiting. And if these guys who still haven't brought forward a plan, we're going to push for a spring budget. A speech from the throne is not a plan. A budget is a plan. So we want to see a plan for Canadians that's going to reduce the cost of living, that's going to bolster our economy, that's going to stop crime, that's going to fix immigration, and all of those priorities that I laid out earlier.
What do you think that soul searching, if you will, should look like for your party? Because the reality is you didn't just lose a fourth straight election. The party also lost a 27-point lead, an election it was supposed to win.
Well, look, I don't necessarily agree with a 27-point lead. I'm not sure that was ever the case going forward when the Liberals ditched the most unpopular leader in the history of their party. But all of that to say, again, when you win or when you lose, you look at the things that went right. And for us, there are a lot of things that went right. I think young people in this country really do believe in a conservative cause and came out in large numbers to vote for Conservatives. I think those who aspire to home ownership, those who work in unions, and I think that you cannot talk about this election without talking about the complete collapse of the NDP, which I think going forward
forward for us is a possible new reality, and you cannot talk about an election without looking at some of the things that we can do better. And we're going to do that both internally and really look at the things that need to be changed in order for us to show that not only are we a government in waiting while here in Ottawa, but we're ready for the next election whenever that comes in the precarious minority situation that we have in Ottawa.
Okay, I am out of time. I have to leave it there. Deputy Leader of the Conservative Party, Melissa Lantsman, thanks so much for your time this morning. Appreciate it.